Welcome back to the video, guys, and in this episode we're going to be working on the pit bike again. So like I said last episode, we're going to be working on driveline stuff today and hopefully get this thing driving. So first thing we're going to be working on is we got our 8 horsepower Tecumseh here, which I actually started with some starting fluid earlier today. Starts right up, amazing. This thing hasn't been ran in probably 10-12 years. Very surprised. Well, not really. And I also got this Amazon eBay-ish torque converter. The one that I had that I was using for mock-up, I didn't have the clutch for, so I just bought a whole new kit. Everything seems to be pretty well made. Couple issues for me. First of all, the bolts on the back side of our engine here that hold the torque converter on are stripped out. So we're gonna go ahead and retap those. I got some 3/8 bolts to replace the 5/16 bolts. And then we're gonna get this thing all bolted up. And then we need to find out how much chain we're gonna need, because we're gonna have to move that rear sprocket, which I have an idea for. So we're gonna go ahead and get on that after this. But for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get these bolts tapped, get the torque converter bolted on, and see how it looks. All right, so I got those holes tapped, and we're gonna go ahead and get the torque converter bolted on, and then get it in the pit bike and figure out where we need to mount our motor at. So the only thing, and I'll show you once I get it mounted in, is the chain on the torque converter needs to be able to clear this bar and possibly this bolt. So to have it straight up centered, it would have to be more that way, but we're gonna have to shift it towards the left side just a little bit so it clears this plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up and see how it turns out. I'm gonna admit you missed a lot. Yesterday when I was filming, or 2 days ago actually, when I was filming that previous clip, it was 100 degrees outside and my phone would not stay recording. It kept overheating. I wanted to get crap done, sweated through the day, and I got the bike to here. We got the clutch on, we got the chain on, we got the sprocket spaced out. We'll go out over all that a little bit later. But right now, it's time for the test drive. Let me show you how easy this motor starts up. Now, mind you, this motor is probably 20 years old at least. And it hasn't been ran in a while. I did get a new carburetor. It ran on the old carburetor, but it wouldn't idle right. So I got a new carburetor, which is right there. But let's go ahead and fire this thing up. So I don't have the throttle cable hooked up yet. So basically we're going to be using that lever on the side to make it go faster. But it should work, so I don't know, let's go have a rip. All right, so I went on that first test drive, just literally not even half a block away, and realized I needed to do some more stuff. So seats bolted down now. That wasn't done before. It was really sketch. I couldn't hold my phone and do throttle and all that good stuff at the same time, but now we got a throttle hooked up. And we got brakes hooked up, and yeah, we should be good to go. So let's give it another shot. I'm just gonna let it warm up for a minute while I put some more air in this tire, and then we'll hit to it.
Hey, look, you guys, he's right there. Nice.
Let me show you what I got going on. First of all, engine's obviously mounted. I put a new carburetor on. Probably could have cleaned the old one, but just decided not to. I got my throttle kind of set up. So I welded this arm here and put a return spring on. And that works via the original thumb throttle here. Front brakes do work, not very good. I think the cable needs to be tightened. So that's all that. For right now, I don't know if this is going to stay here or not, but I mounted this fuel tank on the back here. Don't know if that's going to stay there. Not real sure. Fuel line just kind of runs underneath the seat there. There's a filter like under the seat about here and just connects into the carburetor. Other things, clutch, torque converter is mounted, chain drive is mounted. And what I did was I went ahead and spaced this gear out with this tubing. So, and then I welded those plates in. So it's not perfectly center. Sorry, it's not perfectly straight. It does kind of wobble a tiny bit. I get a little bit of vibration out of the rear end when I drive it. So I think it's going to be from that, and probably because I only have the plates welded on two sides. But I don't think that's going to be a permanent solution. I think I'm actually going to try to take this original hub and slide it on the axle so it's in the right spot, and then maybe just weld it right in the axle so there's no spacer. So if I can do that, that's what I'm going to do. What else did I do? I had to cut this exhaust. Obviously, again, not a permanent solution, but I had to cut this corner off. We're going to make some kind of exhaust for this. I just don't know where it's going to go just yet. Maybe like in this area pointing out the back if we can fit it here with the tires. Other than that, everything's about good. So test drive went well. You got a little bit of a clip of that. Obviously, you can't really see much because I'm holding the camera. So the only real issue that I see with this thing right now is the front end is very light. So obviously all of the weight, most of the weight from rider is on the seat, which is right over the back axle. Engine's in the middle, and there's just no weight in the front. So when you go to turn, it's a little sketchy. Sometimes the wheels kind of float and they don't grab. So we're gonna have to figure something out with that, whether it's just putting ballast on the front. My original idea was to put the fuel tank on the front, so maybe we'll move that to up here. And then we're gonna make some kind of crash bar for the front here too, like, you know, something bigger than this little thing that's here. And I was actually thinking about extending it like all the way out here, so you could either put your feet there or on top of the wheels for, you know, kind of like a comfortable drive, or somebody that has a lot longer legs than me that, you know, is not very comfortable with their feet on those pegs. But other than that, the thing runs great, feels amazing. Still got tons of work to do, but for the most part, it's, you know, it's set up and it's ready to go. Next things we're going to be working on is, I believe, exhaust. Once I figure out what I'm going to do with that, we're going to go ahead and get that set up so that, first of all, it's not so loud, and second, it doesn't burn my leg when I drive it. And then, you know, I have a list of other stuff to do. So yeah, we're going to get to that and, you know, see how it goes. But it's a pretty fun little pit bike. And I think, I'm hoping it's going to fit in my truck with the cover down. So we'll find that out shortly.